Hello everyone, this is officially a voice reveal, I guess. Um, so today we'll be doing something fairly off-brand for me so far, but I don't think I really have a brand. And we'll be reading an amazing fanfic by someone called aliens_exist on archive of our own. This is a sort of fanfic that you probably go through your life wishing existed and not thinking does, but it does. It's literally just titled Shrek / David Bowie Hogwarts AU, so you know we're in for a treat. I'll be having assistance with this reading. So would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't really want to, but why am I an assistant? Is that what I've been demoted to?
Yes, you're now my assistant. Yep.
Henchman, yeah. I'm just a friend here to help read. Because this isn't something you should ever read on your own. This is what you read right before you actually meet the devil.
I mean, true. Although the devil, the devil would probably be proud of you for reading this. Like, you'd become one of his crew for reading something like this.
If you can make it through, yeah.
Okay, so I'll be playing the role of David because he's the main character and I'm the main character in this.
Could be everyone else. Alright.
Don't worry, you only have to be one person at a time. It seems like David only talks to one person at a time, so...
Alright.
Okay. So, Chapter 1, The Incident. It was just another term at Hogwarts, School of Wizardry, and David Bowie was excited to be back. Not just for learning, but to see his senpai, Mr. Shrek. Throughout the holiday, all David could think about was his teacher's beautiful, tube-like ears. He'd even signed up for extra onionology lessons, just so senpai had a better chance of noticing him. God, David would get Shreked by him any day. During this particular lesson, Mr. Shrek was sweating through whatever he had covering his torso, and the stench of onions was overwhelming. But Bowie didn't mind. He loved it. He loved Mr. Shrek. After an hour of learning all about the different layers of onions, and how ogres are remarkably similar, David realised that he was really falling for his teacher. His heart told him anything could happen, although his head told him that this just sounded like the beginning of a really bad porno. End of class came around far too soon for his liking, and his fellow peers began filing out. Okay, you'll go.
Bowie, could you stay behind for a minute, please?
That accent is perfect. Mr. Shrek bellowed in his raspy Scottish accent. Of course, sir, David replied, heart racing.
Your work is really good. I could even say I was overwhelmed with how much you picked up. But it seems as though there's something distracting you. Something I can help with, perhaps?
David laughed dryly at the pun, and was tempted to tell his teacher that it was the idea his strong, green arms wrapped around him that was the distraction, but kept it to himself instead. There's nothing distracting me, sir, honestly. Maybe it's just the fact that I really want to do well in this onionology class. I really don't want to fail this course.
Well, if you keep this outstanding work, you'll be sure to pass this class with flying colors. But if you're that worried about it, you can always have private tuition out of school hours.
Yep, this sounded like it was headed down the path of pornographic video. Thanks, sir. You're the best.
Hey now.
Mr. Shrek began, resting a large hand on David's shoulder.
You're an all-star.
The physical connection sent shivers down David's spine, set firework off in his head, sent lust through his bloodstream. Then he smiled and hurriedly left the room, his textbooks covering the bulge in his trousers. It was similar to the one clearly shown in the 1986 musical Labyrinth. While making his way back to his dorm, David bumped into a familiar face, but not one he was pleased to see. It was Mick Jagger, the boy who always teased him about being good at everything.
Oh, look who it is!
Mick snarled, but David had no time for his bullshit and flew away on his broom. When he got to his dorm, David met his best friend, Elton John.
I gotta be Elton John too, don't I?
You do.
Professor Donkey gave me An F. Me, Elton Bloody John. An F. It's an outrage.
Bowie sighed and lay on his bed, daydreaming of Mr. Shrek, ignoring his strange friend rant about his grade. He began to doze off, his teacher slinking in and out of his dreams. At around 2:54 in the morning, David awoke to a bulky silhouette standing at the end of his bed. At first he began to panic, and then he saw how the moonlight dimly lit the intruder's green skin, and knew it had to be his senpai. Was he dreaming? No, he couldn't be. The smell was far too real.
Hello, David. Sleeping well?
Asked Mr. Shrek with a thick accent. Yes, sir, he stuttered in response. They both knew why the teacher was there. He felt the chemistry when they had touched just as much as David did.
Good.
Sir, if anyone catches you here, you could be... The student was interrupted as a green finger was pressed to his lips. Before David could even process what was about to happen, Mr. Shrek straddled him and replaced his finger with his mouth. Elton John lay in bed, eyes wide, desperately trying to block out the noises his teacher and friend were making, though he wasn't entirely put off by the incident.
Elton John a freak.
Next chapter is super short.
You want me to narrate this one?
Sure. Chapter 2,
All
The
right.
Morning After.
Narrated by Ashura. Chapter 2, The Morning After. David's eyes squinted open, blinking violently at the bright light seeping from the gap in the curtains. He released a contempt sigh as he recalled what happened last night. As he recalled all the moves his teacher had shown him. God, where did he learn all of that? The love-struck student rolled over to find that Mr. Shrek was no longer there, though he knew he probably had lessons to plan for. He couldn't help but feel vaguely hurt. Could his senpai not even have left a note? Was that too much to ask for him? To him?
I'll be having words with him.
David muttered as he got out of bed to slip on his robes.
I think this is you as well.
Oh, that is Elton. That was a weird... Oh, yeah, okay, that is Elton. If you're talking about Mr. Shrek, you already had words with him. Mostly, Mr. Shrek, I love your ogre cock, and you subjected me of all people to it. Outrageous! Chimed Elton, acting as though he hadn't enjoyed every second of it. David shook his head at his friend, hurried down for breakfast, bumping into Mr. Donkey on the moving staircase. Oh, is this Donkey? Yeah,
Yes.
it is. I would do a fucking voice for Donkey. Okay. Bowie, have you seen your onionology teacher? I borrowed some mud and need to give it back to the big green twat, the potions teacher asked.
Are you allowed to speak about your colleagues like that?
Only Mr. Shrek. We have a connection. Not a bestiality one, though, like most people assume. Just a normal donkey-ogre relationship. No homo involved.
Okay. And that's the end of the story.
The end.
This
is brought to you by cancer. I never want to read that again.
Oh, but it's so great.
It's too short.
It is.
I climaxed too quickly.
I know. It's really unfortunate. I wish that they had continued it, but unfortunately it hasn't been updated since 2015, so...
I want the second book.
Oh, me too. I guess it's just like an Song of Ice and Fire.
We need people to get us to send, like, fan fictions to read.
Yes. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, send the worst fanfics you have, or your best ones.
Yep, just send links to fanfiction and we'll come together and we'll read them. But make sure they're actually decent, whether they're decent because they're actually good or because they're so bad that they're good.
Yeah, don't give us any of that average.
We don't like average.
No, we go all in, balls to the wall.
Exactly. Anyway, I thank anyone for watching if you have watched. I don't know why you would, but hey.
I don't blame you if you didn't.
I'll make it interesting. I bet my editing is so good, even though I don't really know how to edit anything properly. We'll see what happens.
That's pretty much all of YouTube. You'll be fine.
Anyway, so yes, thank you. If you have any suggestions as to what I or any of my friends should do next, then leave them down below in the comments. and I'm going to be one of those annoying fucking YouTubers and say like and subscribe. So yeah, thank you and goodbye.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it, or I'll fucking kill you.
There you go. You got a death right now.